Me and John lived together 2 years in Iowa Central and community college together. We were like best friends when we first met each other. He just started doing steroids and he just freaking always had roid rage. He'd come home, he'd yell at me, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing, Colby? Do the dishes." And he would just like literally freak out. Like I would see this roid rage in his eyes and I would just be like, "Dude, what's your deal, man?"
Yeah, Colby's a habitual liar at the end of the day. He really is. I mean, he told the fans that we lived together for 2 years. We lived together for 1 semester. I've made a lot of mistakes and a lot of people don't consider me to be a good person, but I mean, coming from me, Colby's a really bad person. He really is. He really, really is.
He's my biggest fan. Johnny Bones Jones, mother Jones. He's my biggest fan. I used to be a fan, but now I don't like his antics.
Man, I think Jon Jones is one of the best fighters in the world. I think he'll do good against like the smaller heavyweights, but I think if he gets hit once, he'll probably get knocked out of that weight class.
Yeah.
Well, my message to Jon would be to get ready and to be serious, to put himself his work, because he's gonna have the biggest challenge of his life. I won't be going there playing with him like those guys be doing. He's gonna feel the difference.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna see Jon Jones fight at heavyweight. Fuck, he's been saying this since 2013. You either get it done or you don't. He's just getting fat for no reason now.
From watching Jon Jones hit mitts recently as a heavyweight, he doesn't look as fast as he used to. He actually looks like a legit heavyweight with the speed now.
I don't think he should try to gain any more weight, though. I think like his walk-around weight is good enough because I believe he walks around at 240, 235, something like that. I don't think he should like keep trying to gain weight or bulk up as much as you think he should because Cain Velasquez and Stipe, they walk around like 235, 240, and so he'd be a natural heavyweight.
I think he would like to work his way into the division, and Stipe is that perfect guy as far as the size. He's a little heavier than the guys Jon's probably been fighting, but he's not a full-size heavyweight that's cutting down to 265 like your Francis Ngannou's, your Silgans, maybe not financially, but like tactically, it makes a lot of sense.
Jon Jones definitely has more tools in his pocket than Stipe, but I'm not sure if he's tough as Stipe though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who Jon fights. Jon, whoever you can put whomever you want in front of him. He's gonna beat him. So it doesn't matter whether it's Ngannou or it's Stipe, whether whomever it may be. They're all in trouble with Jon's Bone Jones because he's a different athlete. He's a different animal. We all have to accept that there's a reason why he is truly the greatest of all time in the sport of mixed martial arts.
Jon Jones is such a beast. I'm telling you, just for me, Jon Jones, winning over Jon Jones is bigger than taking the belt. I'm telling you, the guy is such a beast.
I'm gonna tell you something about Jon Jones, what I noticed about him, and I noticed it too late after I fought him. His mind, it's his mind. His mind is really strong. Some people believe in the power of the mind, like being mentally strong. Some people believe in it, and if you tell yourself something and you really believe in it, and you have no doubt, you can do it, and that's how Jon Jones is.
Jon Jones is something special when you're speaking. I mean, to fight how Jon Jones used to fight, and back then it was ridiculous because he was so creative inside the octagon, and he had no fear. So when you don't have any fear and you have that creativity, you're looking at somebody who is just absolutely dynamic. When you look at the talent just of what he's been able to do, I mean, you gotta give it to him.
I've had a lot of run-ins with Jon. Like I saw him not too long ago. I was in Las Vegas. I've always had really pleasant interactions with Jon. I've always found him to be a good person. I haven't seen that side of Jon Jones, right. You know what I mean? Obviously in the octagon he's been like that. If anything, the thing that used to annoy me about Jon was he was overdoing the good guy approach, the preaching about the God and all the rest. It's like, shut the fuck up, stop being such a goody two shoes, because we all know beneath the surface you're not that guy.
Everyone knows what Jon is, and I think he's fake. I think Jon is he just comes across like he's just acting. There's a lot of dark clouds over Jon. I'm a fan of a real sport, a true sport, and it's sad to see how the sport goes sometimes.
Look at his history. Look at his track record, man. The guy can't get out of his own way. I mean, it's one thing to make a mistake, but it's another thing to continually make the same mistake one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. So the guy's a dirtbag, man. I mean, he shouldn't be paid anything. The guy shouldn't even be fighting. He should be suspended for his whole career.
I said some things back in 2017 before we fought the second time. I spoke to mistakes and how when you make mistakes, they change you. Jones obviously doesn't learn from the mistakes, but I also take a bit of responsibility because I think in a lot of situations, you learn when you have to pull yourself up by the bootstrap. I said on the countdown show before the fight, the way Jon Jones makes changes is by losing to me. I didn't beat him. Chael Sonnen didn't beat him.
Right.
So many people didn't beat him. We never forced him to look in the mirror. It's unfortunate.
I think Jon Jones literally has about 10 fights left. He thinks he probably has less just because, but he's a competitor, man. He's a fighter. Jon's gonna be doing this for a minute.
Hey, he needs to fight himself first, fight his demons. That's the main thing. He needs to be fighting. You know, go back to church, you know? Philippians 3:16, whatever it was. Go back to church.
Jon Jones, I could easily tell you if he's not number one, he's number two, pound for pound of the ages. I respect Anderson Silva and a lot of guys from that era, but Jon Jones is above and beyond. The things that he can do with his wrestling set him apart from every other fighter that I've seen because nobody is as well-rounded as him. With the wrestling, with his defensive and offensive wrestling, and his striking is just different to where he could strike with good guys because he brings this awkwardness into him when he strikes that only he does. Nobody can imitate it. So he's all in his own league, I think, when it comes to fighting, man.
You look at what Jon Jones has done in his career and the way he's done it. I put him up there. Of course, I put him up there. But times have changed. And it's always like, come on now, we know how this goes. You can't be the best forever.
If we're talking greatest of all time, it's a pretty easy argument. It's Jon Jones, you know, like I don't think there's much of an argument there if you look at, that's where Jon was confusing me. Like he's talking about his 15 titles, he's talking about all the legends that he's beaten. It's like, Jon, we get it. Like I don't even like you, and I'm not arguing with you. You are the GOAT.
You know, when Jon Jones was at 205, his last few fights, he was getting caught with some punches, you know, and it was making him look a little bit more human. So I would say if he goes up to heavyweight and he doesn't patch up those holes, then he can get caught with a big shot.
All those fights that you guys think that Jon Jones barely won, you guys are crazy. He's just a winner. He's able to slide through.
The only person Jon Jones has beaten like the last 3 or 4 years is his wife. That's the only person he's beaten.
Be nice. Just positive.
I am a successful human being, and successful human beings do not celebrate in the adversity or misfortune of others. So, you know, I wish Jon well.
I hope that he figures it out, because there's something in him that's causing him to keep going back to that place, and he is the only person that can sort that out.
From day one, great fighter, horrible person. And the actions that are starting to show themselves, fuck everything else, steroids, the partying, all that other shit, fighting with the stripper, all that, forget all that. When you start doing that to the family, shame on you, my man. Get that shit right, dog. Seriously, man to man, get that shit right.